actually put this on YouTube as well. So, right, a very warm welcome to everybody. This is the third of our fans' evenings. We've obviously had Andy Holt and Dave Burgess with us, and then we had John and Jimmy. And tonight we invited some of our star players along. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it, but I'm still delighted to welcome Seamus and Colby, Matt, Michael and Nathan. So welcome along. We keep this fairly informal. For the attendees, you know the protocols in that if you want to ask a question, just raise your hand. So use the raise hand button on the system, or put something in the chat box and we'll try and pick it up that way. Otherwise, we'll just ask the questions that have been sent in by the supporters. Before we start, I can see that Dave out in Seoul is wearing his Matt Butcher shirt, which is probably the only one in South Korea. So perhaps Matt would like to say a special hello to Dave. He comes across to the WAM Stadium probably more seasons to come and see us, but he's wearing your name, Matt.
Hi Dave, you all right? How are you?
He's around somewhere. It's about 2:30. It's about 2:30 in the morning out there. But to be fair to him, he's been on every one so far. So
oh wow, good shift.
He was the one to order the 2 Butcher number 6 shirts that we sent out to him. So to get this out of the way at the beginning, I think by my reckoning that Notts is probably the only fit one amongst you so far, because obviously Matt's had his gashed ankle. Nathan's obviously had his shoulder up, and Seamus and Colby have been on the treatment table as well. So what's the latest in terms of injuries, guys? Seamus, where are you up to?
Back running just this week, very light jogging. So I'm hopeful that towards the end of next week, maybe Easter weekend, I'll be back training, and then soon into games as soon as possible after that. Yeah, but it's frustrating at the moment, but you can only go as fast as my body will allow me. I find the older I get, the longer it takes me to get back from injuries. But the last thing I want to do is try and come back too soon and do more damage. So I'm stuck with Colby in the gym at the moment, and he's not the happiest injured player to be around. He's a bit grumpy at the moment.
So where are you up to, Colby?
I'm probably about the same, to be honest. I'm looking for to be back for probably the Easter games, so hopefully towards the end of next week. It's been a frustrating one. We didn't really know what was going on with my thigh and stuff, but it's been clarified now, and hopefully, like I said, I can be back for next week.
Yeah, because it seemed to start, you got a bang against Ipswich, I think, didn't you? Which looked like a bit of a dead leg in the rear end from what we could see. But
yeah, it was the Swindon game at home in the first half. I got a bang on it, but then just because of the way I got the bang, it ended up being a tear in the muscle as well. So it was kind of 2 injuries, but it's getting better now.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Trust me, in terms of injuries, the older you get, it doesn't get any easier in terms of recovering. They certainly get more frequent, I think, really. Right, moving on to the supporters' questions. The first one we'll pass around all the guys really, which is this is from Hayden. Which was your favourite moment so far this season? Nathan, do you want to start with that?
For me, probably Charlton away was a great night. I mean, I live 5 minutes from the ground at Charlton, and I have a lot of friends from school and stuff who were Charlton fans. Yeah. And so that was a real nice one, and it was on Sky. So yeah, that was a really enjoyable moment for me that day, I think.
Tell me that Coley didn't make you go home on the coach.
Oh, we all stayed over after the game, so yeah, that was a good night.
So you stayed over 5 minutes from where you live?
Yeah. I had a much better night with the lads than I would have done at home with my parents.
That's all right then. Michael, what about you? What's been your favourite moment so far?
Yeah, Charlton was definitely a good one. Obviously playing on telly that night.
Yeah.
Beating a good team and being right up there in the league. Obviously that was a good moment. Another good moment for me was obviously scoring my first goal for the club. Obviously you want to try and score and set up goals as many as you can as quickly as possible. And I'm just trying to think of any more. Obviously scoring the other day as well.
Yeah.
Which was a good one.
Yeah. Excellent. Colby, yours?
Yeah, it's probably, sorry to say the same thing again, but it's probably the Charlton one. It was a good day, and obviously we had a good time after as well, so it's a fun memory.
And you scored a cracking second goal as well, didn't you, there?
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, yeah. Seamus, how about you?
I'll try and do something different. Probably Hull at home after getting beat just a week
Yeah.
before, the way the
Yeah.
fixtures fell. We played them. It was our very next game,
Yeah.
so they turned us over quite convincingly at their place, 3-0. And I think they probably thought we were a little bit weaker than we actually are. So they were in for a bit of a surprise when they came back to the ground. We were confident that we could give a better account of ourselves, and
Yeah.
it just so happened on the night we did. We played very well. And
Revenge.
it was one of those nights where you really miss the fans, because the night games at the Wham Stadium, the place comes to life even more so than the 3 o'clock kickoff. So if the fans were there, the 2 goals we scored were in the Clayton end as well, it would have been all that better. But yeah, probably that'd be for me the standout moment of the season so far, beating Hull at home.
Yeah, revenge was certainly sweet, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's what. Which is yours?
Probably I'll go different. I'll go probably the Peterborough game, first day of the season to open with a win. Obviously, personally as well, coming off a few injuries, it was just nice to get back playing and getting into that winning feeling as soon as possible. And I think that set us up for kind of the way we went about our season.
Yeah. It certainly helped to set the stage, didn't it? Really did that one. On that. Next question is from Keith Hagan, who wants to know who is the fittest, and he means not Luke's before Joe Pritchard start getting excited.
Yeah.
The fittest player at the club. Seamus, do you want to kick off?
I'm trying to think, is there anyone at the club who would beat me in the 12-minute run now? It used to be, I used to finish about second or third, but I think them lads have moved on now. I reckon I'd win the 12-minute run. I'm probably the slowest, but I can probably run the longest. I don't know if any of the lads disagree with that, but
I'm going to have to disagree with that.
who's fitter than me?
Jack Bolton.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Jack.
Yeah.
Bolton, yeah, okay, yeah.
Normally though.
But he's got a broken leg at the moment, so I reckon I'd take him at the minute, even with my
I still
size.
don't know with him. He might crawl it.
Yeah,
He's
he
only-
probably would, actually.
and he's only about 12, isn't he?
I know,
Yeah.
No, he was flying in pre-season. I've never seen anyone like him in pre-season. He was really fit, yeah. So I'm second then, yeah. All right, okay.
Me and Sean tend to outrun you on the stats at the minute as well, don't we? Actually, I think.
No. You're not outrunning me, no. You're not adding in your you're doing the whole thing. You're not taking in just the game. You're doing in your halftime walking about and everything like that is adding to your
I'm taking it home, yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of talk about pre-season training as well, and it didn't sound too exciting, to be honest. All those beach runs and sand dunes.
No, they're horrible. Yeah.
That normally means that Coley can have a lie in that day, because you go on the sand dunes at Birkdale, don't you?
Yeah. We were at Formby this year, Formby Beach. They found some even more steeper hills, yeah. And they were really tough.
I've been there, yeah. Picture that. So we got all our votes. Nathan, have you anybody you want to add into the mix?
No. I don't know. I wasn't there in pre-season. I'll probably say Seamus.
Okay, well, you can start this one off. Tom Nicholson wants to know who has the worst fashion sense.
It's hard to tell because obviously because of COVID, we've been going in our Atkinson kit, washing our kit at home, so we don't get to see as much of the lads' fashion sense.
Nathan, you're going to have to take that one, mate. Sorry.
But yeah, I was just trying to delay it because it's definitely me. Yeah, I've had some stick from the lads. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All good-natured banter, no doubt. Martin, you any thoughts?
I think I said Colby in my program notes, but I don't know why I thought I'd just get a reaction out of him, but I think he I haven't actually seen what he wears because of COVID, so I'll just go.
I've never seen Colby wear anything apart from gym gear.
Yeah.
Well, judging by what Colby's wearing now, I'll definitely say it's Colby.
Are we doing worst trim yet? Oh.
Well, it looks like you're winning that one, Colby. I'm afraid.
I'll take it.
Okay, next up, and it's a bit of a bizarre question, is Scott Aspen wants to know, would you rather win the playoff final but get a career-ending injury, or lose the playoff final and fans give you stick for the rest of your career? Sort that one out.
No, lose. I think I'd have to say lose just because obviously I'm still short into my career and I want to see what goes on in my career, and we might have another chance to do it anyway. So I'm going to have to say lose. But obviously we'd love to say win, but it's a bit harsh to end my career.
As I say, where the question came from, I'm not sure really. Matt, what are your thoughts? You've gone through the injury mill a few times, haven't you?
Yeah. I think I'd have to go with Colby and just hope we do it the next year.
I think I've had that. Michael, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not getting any younger. I'm 31 now, turning 32 in a few weeks, and the thought of not playing football actually scares me, and I feel like it's getting like closer and closer. So the thought of not ever playing again, no. So I'd rather lose a thing and a chance of another season or something like that.
Yeah, I can understand that. Seamus, could you put off climbing the steps to get a trophy then?
No, I don't. The career-ending injury would scare me. That freaks me out. So I can't pick that. I don't think. No, I think I have to go with the lads as well. A bit boring, but yeah, lose, but have another shot another year. I think.
Yeah. Nathan, any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with the lads.
Yeah, I think that's fairly unanimous, that one, Scott. So there we go. Colby, this one's for you from Keith Laird, who's one of our fans based up in Scotland. It comes down to the majority of the home games with his young son. What was the biggest challenges you faced coming from non-league football up to League One?
I'd probably just say the physical side of it, because obviously you play against big lads and stuff in the conference, but these lads that you're playing against in League One and stuff, they're spending the whole day working on the body and stuff, and they're definitely better athletes than what I was used to playing. But obviously having the chance to do it myself, I think I built myself up to match them in that way, really.
Yeah, so the physicality, because not only they're actually big and fit, aren't they, I suppose?
Yeah, they're faster, they're sharper. There's a lot to it, so it's definitely tougher.
Okay. Next one's for Seamus from Paul Foury. With the fans currently not allowed inside the stadium, would it be better to make it the Wembley playoffs next season?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if we made it to the playoffs, I would love the fans to be there. To play at Wembley anytime would be, I've never done it. It would be an unbelievable experience, but it would be made all the better by the fans being there. But I'm not going to turn down, if you offer me the playoffs this year, I'm not going to turn it down just because the fans wouldn't be there. We'd love to get there. Yeah, it's been a strange season. I think it's helped us in some ways, the fans not being there when we've gone away from home, particularly springs to mind that Charlton game on Sky. With 15,000 Charlton fans would have been a different story. It would definitely have been more difficult. Ipswich away, we actually played well, although we didn't win, and that would have been more difficult if Ipswich had 10, 15,000 in. We're going to go to Sunderland, we're going to go to Portsmouth. It'll be different to what it's usually like. But on the flip side, we've missed our fans at home as well. So it's been a strange season, but I think everybody hopes the fans are back in. The fans do, obviously, and the players do sooner rather than later. Yeah,
I think from the fans' perspective, obviously we've had iFollow, which has been adequate, but it's a poor substitute for actually to be honest. But it is what it is, really. Matt, you are next up. How much you enjoy playing every week after your previous injury setbacks and obviously the early curtailments of the last season due to COVID up at St Johnstone?
Yeah, loving it. I mean, that's kind of what I've been missing over the past 3 years, really. I think my last competitive game before St Johnstone was 2017. So to get back from them kind of few injuries and then for it to get cut short for another circumstance with COVID, it was obviously quite hard to deal with. But playing kind of most of the games this year, I couldn't have asked for any kind of better experience and to bring that joy back to football, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think I was reading somewhere that you just about made it home before this shut everything down, didn't you?
Nearly got stuck in Scotland, so I was lucky I got back to my family's place before that. But hopefully that'll be the last time we go into full lockdown and stop playing again. Yeah, touch wood, fingers crossed and everything else, really. Nathan, Mick Shackleton wants to know, what do you look at when deciding where to go on loan and how did the Stanley loan come about?
I think first and foremost, it's not my decision, obviously. Chelsea pretty much decide where I go. But for me, obviously, working under an experienced manager, a good goalie coach, which you definitely have at Accrington. Obviously, the style of football, I look at the way Accrington laid out from the back. It suits kind of the way I am and the way I play. So Accrington ticked all the boxes. There's a member of staff obviously at Chelsea who's one of the coaches. Yeah. Played for Accrington. And, obviously I spoke with him and asked him about the club and the gaffer, and he couldn't speak highly enough of this. That's how it came about, and obviously I've loved my time at the club, and it's just a shame that I didn't play in front of any of the supporters. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully one day, you never know.
Not that this one's for you. What started the long throw? How much do you practice? And have you had a competition with Paul Smith to see who can throw the furthest? And that's come from Colin Downey.
No, over time it's got even shorter, hasn't it? So I don't even think you can call it a long throw anymore. I don't ever practice it, to be honest. It just came about through one of my previous managers. We was just messing around on the training pitch, and I was doing it one time, and just kind of stuck. He just had me doing it in every game, so that's when that reputation of having that long throw.
Yeah.
But I think with my old age, I think my shoulders are going, so it's getting shorter.
I think we've gone from a side from having nobody taking long throws to potentially having both of you at it, to be honest with you, which is another sort of.
A bigger throw than me, but I'm 100%. I can throw it twice the distance that you can. To be honest.
Well, he's only short, isn't he? To be fair, like you say. Right, this is a question for all of you from Andrew Trotter. What do you feel are the pros and cons? Let's see if you can find the pros of training on an artificial pitch. Who wants to go first?
I think probably one of the only pros is that you can get on it when you can't kind of get on grass, or it'll be snow. The snow we had this year is obviously quite bad, so
sure.
That's probably, I'll get in there with the only pro pretty quickly and get that out there and leave the rest to the lads.
I know we've had plenty of comments in the past from most of the players about the cons bits, I think, really. Seamus, do you want to lead on that?
Yeah, he's stolen my pro. So the cons, obviously we don't play on AstroTurf on a Saturday, so that's something that's not ideal. We'd rather train on the grass, because then we play on the grass on a Saturday. I do feel it takes a little bit more out of your legs and your back, your lower back. I certainly do feel a bit stiffer having played on the AstroTurf compared to the grass. I'm trying to think of another pro. The pro is the maintenance. It's just easier to maintain for a club of our size with our budget, the ground staff we have. I mean, we only really have Buzzer and John Ostley, the caretaker at the ground. It would be difficult for us to maintain a training facility, a grass pitch. So it's easier to maintain. So I mean, it does have pros. I mean, it enables us to train pretty much every day, all the way throughout the year, which is important for us then to be able to perform on a Saturday.
Yeah, Colby, anything different?
No, yeah, obviously, I think the points that everyone said is valid. Maybe another pro is that you never get in. The pitch doesn't really get roomed, so it's always a good surface to play on. It's just obviously the fact of what Seamus says. It does tend to take it out on you a bit more. When you impact the floor, it all comes back up at you. When you've got soft ground, it kind of makes that a bit easier. But on the Astro, it tends to come back up into your body, and you definitely can feel it a bit more than grass.
You'll feel the shocks on you, I suppose. Nathan, it must be a lot different for goalkeepers.
Yeah, I think everyone's really said kind of how I feel. I mean, I've grown up and trained a lot on Astro, so I was kind of used to it. Obviously, all the boys have.
Yeah. Okay. No, anybody else not see any thoughts?
No, I think it's all been covered, really.
Yeah. Obviously, the agreement's now in place that one day soon we will actually have our training ground sorted out up at King George. But obviously, there's quite a lot of work to do on the playing services up there. So whether it'll be in time for next season, who knows? But at least it will happen one day. So we'll watch this space, really. Next question from Ian Barnes. He wants to know, what's a typical week like for a player in terms of fitness training, looking back at the next match and then preparing for the next fixture? Matt, do you want to kick off that one off?
Yeah, I think this year has probably been a bit different to most. Kind of, this is probably the first week where we've had a full week training. So when it's Saturday, Tuesdays, it's mainly focused on recovery and getting your body right for the next game. There's not kind of loads and loads you can do on the pitch. When we're on good runs, that helps obviously to just keep up the momentum. But in the same breath, the training week like this week allows you to kind of work on more things a bit tactically and little bits you want to tweak when you can't really do that in that intense period.
Yeah. Do you do quite a lot of analysis work, Seamus, on sort of previous matches and then the next week's opponents?
Well, we always do. We always look at next week's opponents. That always happens Thursday and Friday. So Thursday will be that team either in possession or out of possession, and then Friday will be the other way, them in possession or out of possession. Watching ourselves, it really depends on the performance. Really, if we've got hammered 3 or 4-0 and the manager's really not happy about something, all sit down on a Monday and go through it. And sometimes it can take 2 or 3 hours to go through it, and there's a lot of things are said, and but it's good. It clears the air, and it gets everybody focused again.
Yeah.
Whereas if the performance is good, the manager might just say after the game, listen, you just have to keep that up, keep doing what we're doing, and we don't need to watch the performance back as much.
On the back of a bad performance, does it tend to be a bit of an open house in terms of the conversations that are had?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the manager encourages everybody to talk. He really wants voices from all positions on the pitch, and even the lads that were on the bench or in the stand, because they'd have had a different view of the game from what he had and what the players on the pitch had. So it's anyone. I mean, Mark Hughes will say a lot, Sean McConville will say a lot, I will say a lot. Obviously the manager Jimmy, John Doolan. But everyone is encouraged to speak up, and if they've got opinion, then everyone will be heard.
Yeah, so that's quite a healthy environment, I think. It'd really get things out in the open and get them sorted away, I suppose. Really, Nathan. In terms of goalkeeping, obviously, do you spend time studying the opposition forwards and free kicks and penalties and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, so obviously with Tony will send me the kind of information about the teams we're playing and what way the penalties are likely to go, and our record's been really good this year on that. So obviously I do my own research, and you've played against quite a lot of the guys before already. So we do that, and obviously I obviously take note from the video that we do. I think the video we do before games is really good, and it's really, really detailed and really professional, and I think we're really well at games.
Good. Okay, I'd say certainly the record of saving penalties seems to be working. That's for sure. It does that. Right. Next question, Michael. Do you want to take this? Are there any superstitious habits amongst the players?
Well, I don't really have too many. I just I used to do something, but I don't do it too often anymore. I used to have a band around my wrist. I used to think it used to make me feel a lot warmer on the pitch when it was cold anyway. I don't really do that too much, but no, I don't really have too many of them. I'm not really too sure about anyone else.
What about press ups in the room before the game? You always do that in the hotel room.
No, I don't. They always make like that on here.
Colby, what about you?
No, I don't really have anything. I think it's more of the night before. I tend to eat the same kind of thing and do the same kind of things of what I'd always do on a Monday night or a Friday night before a game. I don't really have anything on a game day that I can think of. I don't know if any of the lads have seen anyone do it, but I've not.
You don't have your lucky goal scoring boots then?
Yeah.
You lost them, Colby, have you?
I think Billy Key took them. He was wearing John Coleman's for a time, wasn't he? Because he borrowed some boots from John Coleman, started scoring goals, and wore them for about 6 games or something, I think, at one time.
Might have to try it.
That was the story. Matt, have you got any superstitions?
No, I'm pretty similar to the lads. I think sometimes if you have too many, you can get caught up on. If you don't do one, then your mind goes mad. So I try to keep it as minimal as possible, really.
Keep things simple, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right, Seamus, James Cheverton wants to know, in over 200 appearances to Stanley, what is the best crowd atmosphere you've played in front of?
Probably when we beat Burnley in the League Cup, when Matty Pearson scored really late on at the Clayton end. That was a great buzz.
119 and a half minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, that was basically the last kick of the game to beat the local rivals Premier League team at the time. Yeah, that was pretty good. And obviously then the two games, Yeovil at home to get promoted, and Lincoln the 2 or 3 weeks later when we won the league. They were 2 special occasions at the Wham Stadium. Yeah, probably the best atmospheres I've played in.
Excellent. Okay. What's next? Right, Colby, start this one off. If you can change one thing in your time playing for Stanley, what would it be and why? And that's from Deck Burns.
I'd probably just have to go. I think I've missed 1 or 2 penalties. I'd probably just say I'd take that. That's the only thing I could think of, really.
Mark, anything you want to change? One thing?
I probably, I don't know, maybe just jump out of the tackle that got me injured for a game, or not go for that elbow. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably wise that, really. Probably wise. Michael, anything for you?
Probably about a month ago when we played Crewe. I think it was a really important time in the season. Like, we was flying at the time. We had a good run of games where I thought, like, we could pick up points, would be right in the mix. And for their first goal, I made a mistake, kind of got caught up under a ball, and it led to them scoring a goal, which obviously went on for them to go and win the game.
Yeah.
And I just think, like, things like that, if they could have been cut out and you could have got a result at places like that, then maybe form could be a bit different. Like, after that, obviously, and I think after that point, I think we've not been doing too well since. Obviously, I'm not saying that's the reason why, but I just felt like we could maybe change that. You know what I mean? Certain results away from home and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
sure.
maybe that one. That's the only thing I think of.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. These things happen. Obviously, the key thing is it only happens once, I suppose, isn't it? Really, and stuff like that. Nathan, anything for you?
Mine probably be a bit different. I would probably say come a bit earlier, because obviously I did pre-season at Chelsea, and they kind of kept me there for as long as possible. And it meant that I missed the start of the season. So it would have been, if there's one thing I could have changed, it probably would have been for the start of the season.
Because from memory, I think were you a sort of victim of circumstance, because Chelsea were waiting to get the keeper in from France, weren't they? I think at the time, was that probably the background behind it?
Yeah, exactly. So from the one thing I could have changed, it would have been to come a bit earlier.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Right, next question is from our esteemed stadium announcer Josh Adcroft, who wants to know, since moving up north, as most of you know, he hails from Essex via Bristol, I've had to get used to northern customs, some great, some just odd. But what is your favourite northern trait? Mine's gravy on literally everything. Bloody brilliant. So, Michael, you hail from the West Midlands, don't you?
Yes, just trying to think the differences.
I know you spent time in Blackpool and Salford, so you've had a bit of experience.
I've been to a few trippies in Salford as well. They call it different names. Do you know Baps and stuff like that, like Cobs and Baps? We call them Cobs in Birmingham, where I'm from. But people call them, is it Baps or
Baps or Barm cakes, and goodness knows what it is.
Yeah, since I've come up here, I've had a lot more of them, but there's always a debate of what they're actually called. So I've actually started calling them Baps now.
Okay, what about you, Mark? Because you hail from the deep south, don't you?
Yeah. I'm not going to get involved in it. Mine's different to everyone's up here, so I'm on my own on that respect. I think it's just me and Pritch that have a say in anything from down south. But yeah, the weather's obviously different. We've had a lot more snow up here, but I think Scotland gave me a little bit of a tester and introduced me to that. So that's the main difference, really, I think.
Yeah. Colby, what about you from Nottingham?
Yeah, I'm from Nottingham. Yeah, I'd probably say the best thing, I'm going to keep it food related. They do this thing at the chip shop called like a pudding, but it's like a steak pie, but they boil it. I think that's more Manchester, but
steak pudding, yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends introduced me to that, and it was nice. And I wish they did that in Nottingham, to be fair.
Not good for you, Colby. Not
I
good
know,
for you.
But after a game, sometimes you've got to treat yourself.
What about you, Nathan?
I'm not sure. When we played Bristol Rovers, I saw one of my mates who's on loan from Chelsea. And he said, "What's happened to your voice? You sound like you're a Rover now." But I don't know about that.
You're going native, are you?
Yeah, I don't think so. No, I didn't agree with you.
Right, next question for you, actually, Nathan, while I've got you. From Andrew Buckle. What is so good that you enjoy playing for our little club when you could probably play for a bigger one?
Sorry, say that again?
I said his question is, what is so good that you enjoy playing for our little club when you could probably play for a bigger one?
Oh, I think the difference between, I think it's just the lads, like the team spirit and the togetherness of the group. I think that's what makes it so enjoyable to play, because great bunch of lads and we all get on well, and obviously we're all desperate to do well for the club and make sure the club's successful. But you know, we enjoy coming into work every day and training every day, and it's a good dressing room to be in.
Good, excellent. I've just been pulled up by Mick Shackleton on the comments thing, who said, "When did a steak pudding become bad for you?" I think about the time they invented Mick. To be honest, anyway, okay. Let's carry on down the list. Jim Curtis. Jim Curtis wants to know, Colby, Should heading be banned?
I hope not, otherwise I'll be out of a job.
I could say it'd ruin your game.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not affected me so far. I mean, I don't know what state I'm going to be when I'm older, but yeah, I hopefully not, because I think I'll be struggling otherwise.
Yeah, I think obviously the ball now, it's more like a sort of beach ball that you play with nowadays compared to the footballs you used to play with. So hopefully the lasting damage shouldn't be as serious as perhaps it's been in the past. I don't know. But anyway, Matt, next one for you. As a box-to-box midfielder, are you told how much distance you actually cover in a typical game? And if so, who typically covers the most ground?
Yeah, so normally just a bit more than Seamus, but no, yeah, we get the GPS stats, so we look at them after every game. I think kind of midfield in general probably cover the most distance, and I think it's around 12k. Would you say, Seamus? Around that, just under maybe.
Yours isn't. Mine is, yeah. But yours is.
12 and a half. Mine.
Oh, we're going to be competitive now, are we?
Yeah.
It's not how far you run; it's what you do when you get there. I've now got another steak pudding comment to say you can actually put a steak pudding in a barm cake or a back for Michael, and it stops you burning your fingers.
I'll be trying that then.
There's a bit of background information for you. Michael, next one for you. How did the move from Blackpool come about when you'd actually started the season and the team?
Yeah, so it was 4 games in, and I was playing every game for Blackpool at the time. I literally trained as normal for Blackpool one day, and he called me in the office, the gaffer did, and he said there's been a bid been put in from Atkinson, and we think you should go and have a talk to them, just so you can clear your head, so you know where you're at, kind of thing. And yeah, the next day I went and spoke to John Coleman, and I already knew that he's tried to sign me previously a few times. And after we got talking, he basically explained to me what he thought I had to offer to the club, and how I could help the club go forward and stuff like that, and what he thought of me. He said he'd been fond of me for a long time. And after talking to him about the whole thing, I actually felt like I was appreciated and wanted. So it made the decision very easy to actually make the move. So it was very quick the way it happened.
Yeah. Because it was right at the end of the window, wasn't it, from memory? It was in the last...
Yeah, it was literally right at the end of the window. It literally came from nowhere. I had no idea of it happening until it actually happened. And when it did happen, it happened so quickly within a couple of days. Which
is probably the best way in some respects. You're not like Nathan, where you sat around for a month not knowing whether you're coming or going, I suppose, really.
That, yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Seamus, Alex Crook wants to know, having been for the club for over 6 seasons now, good times and bad times, what has been your greatest performance in a Stanley shirt? I'll start you off with the FA Cup game at Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The lads don't know about that. You should tell them about that, Peter. You know, played against Middlesbrough away.
He was everywhere
in front of 30,000. Yeah, I think so. I had a very good game that day. Yeah, there's a big stage to play on. The team, the team played well that day. We held our own, more than our own, and I think we ended up losing 1-0 at the end. Downing scored, didn't he?
Downing scored
late on, about 75 minutes.
Typical from 20 yards into the top corner. Yeah.
So yeah, but that was so Middlesbrough away. Yeah, that was I had a decent game that game. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. This next one's a fairly quick one. Growing up, which team did you support? I think Seamus is one in black and white stripes. I've read somewhere.
Yeah, Newcastle's my team. Yeah, from the that team in the mid-90s, that Keegan team that should have won the league. Really, that's why I started supporting them. So, and we've won nothing since. So.
Haven't even been close. No. Colby, not Forest fan.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest fan. Yeah. Growing up, just had a season ticket with my mates and just stuck with it ever since. Not been the easiest ride, but I enjoy going to watch them still.
I have been on there many moons ago. Yeah. Matt, what about you? Bournemouth, Southampton, Portsmouth.
Portsmouth, yeah, that's where my family are from. So growing up, obviously, took a bit of a turn when I was growing up there in the Premier League, and then it all went a bit pear-shaped. But yeah, that was the team I grew up supporting.
Yeah, there's some exciting times when Ben that was around winning the FA Cup and whatever, didn't there? Really?
Yeah.
What about you, Nathan?
Oh well, I've been at Chelsea since I was 7, so
has to be then, doesn't it? Really. On that, Michael, blue or Claverton blue?
Claret and blue. I was born and raised right next to the Villa, so there was no way I was going to support Birmingham City.
Yeah. Oh well, that makes sense, I suppose. Really. Right. Next up, Stephen Pye wants to know, and a question to all of you really: who do you think are the best team we've faced this season? Michael, do you want to kick that one off? Cool.
Yeah, I think the toughest game that we had was I thought personally it was Lincoln at home. I thought they were the best team. I think they were in the second game they weren't too bad either. I think they've got good individual players, good young team. Obviously recently they've not been doing too well. They've lost a bit of form, I think.
Yeah, I think.
By the games that we've played so far.
Yeah, I think Grant got injured, didn't he? Obviously, he's their sort of playmaker, I suppose, really.
Yeah, and I think it's Ledbetter or someone else, or in the middle. For them, I don't know, someone else.
Yeah, it was a good nil draw from memory at our place, wasn't it? It was a good game.
Yeah.
Really. Seamus, what about you?
I thought Hull were very good when we played them away, but then when we played them 7 days later, I didn't think as much of them. I think that's the way the season's panned out. I think some teams have peaked at different periods of the season. I think Sunderland are the team to watch now. Watching them, I watched them from the stand last week, and I didn't think they were amazing, but I thought they were very good at getting a win, which is what it's all about at this season. I thought they were very professional, good bit of experience in the team, and they seem to have hit the ground at the right time now, and they're timing their run well, and I think that they'll end up in one or two automatic spots coming into the season.
Yeah, it's been a strange season with the way obviously the fixtures are panned out. You know, obviously we played every Saturday, Tuesday since Christmas virtually.
Yeah.
Which obviously starts to take its toll, as you guys can vouch for, really. But what do you think, Matt?
I'd probably follow Seamus, to be honest. I think that the toughest game coming off from was the first game at Hull. But like you said, everyone's beaten everyone this season, and that's probably why it's so tight. But yeah, that was probably the toughest game and the best team performance we've played against, I think.
Yeah. Nathan, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with the whole one. That's the one I was thinking about. But to be fair, I think that we match anyone on our day, you know, and there haven't been many teams which have been better than us. Yeah.
It looks like Blackpool have hit a decent run at the right time, to be honest. But where they'll end up remains to be seen. They're certainly making a decent fist at the moment, aren't they? Really. Next up is for Colby. What's the best goal you've scored?
In ever, or just for Accrington?
You can do either. You can do either or both.
I'd probably say best goal out of Accrington. I scored a goal at Birmingham's ground for Leamington in a final. That was probably the best goal I've ever scored. And for Accrington, I'd probably say the second one at Charlton, just because the enjoyment of it. So I'd probably say that.
Yeah. Can you describe the goal for us, the first one, or what?
Pardon?
Can you describe the goal for us, the one at Birmingham City?
Have you not seen it?
No.
Hold on. We haven't got a light there. Move on. Come on.
Are we on YouTube or not?
This could take a while.
They're searching YouTube now, aren't they? Yeah, to try and find it.
Birmingham Senior Cup final. Colby Bishop screamer, and it comes up.
I don't think they have cameras.
I think it's one of the only goals I've scored outside the box, to be fair. So you have to go watch it, lads.
I think I've seen it. I think when you signed, somebody put it up, and it was about 25-yard top corner job, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can't forget it.
Smashing. Right, Matt, this one's for you. Hailing from Portsmouth, do you manage to get home occasionally, and how well have you settled up in the northwest?
Yeah, I think they're talking about the cycle ride that I did in lockdown. That was the normal route, so road to the seafront and then back again, which is quite a way. But I haven't been out on the bike too much up here. I have brought it up there, up here, so I've managed to get out on a few little recovery rides. But no, I haven't been on them sort of distance ones of late.
Excellent. Okay, so you've settled quite well.
Yeah. No, I've loved it since I've been up here. Kind of everything about the club and the lads, and obviously the season we've had's been great from start to now. So I hope
it's just a pity, obviously, with the lockdowns or whatever, that obviously you can't really get out and explore the region too much, can you? Really, at the moment? But,
no, not really. It's obviously been a tough year for everyone. So
yeah, of course,
yeah.
There's time for that. Nathan, John Earnshaw asks, what would you rate as your best save of the season?
The best save of the season was the save I made at Tranmere with my head, but no one remembers that because we obviously had a bad result, which is fair enough. But yeah, that was easily made a great save at Celtic, which is probably one of my favourite saves. But the best save I ever made, definitely the Tranmere one. I like it over.
Was it a close range thing that you just got your body in the way to hit you in the head, did it?
Yeah, so you can't even remember it, can you?
Well, no, I can't, to be honest.
Yeah, it was from close range, and I couldn't get my hands up, so I kind of just headed it over.
That's fine. As long as it stays out the goal, it's all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Then they scored from the resulting corner, I think. So I didn't really
that was the match at the end, wasn't it? Clark scored, didn't he? Yeah, I remember it now. Notts, the next one is for you. Both your goals this season have come against Wigan, one from 20 yards and one from about 20 inches. We just thought we don't have to wait till we play them next season until we get the next one. Do you feel you've got more goals in you?
Yeah, well, I felt recently that there was goals coming. I've been getting quite a lot of chances in the last few games. That's something that I do pride myself on, just trying to get on the end of goals and stuff like that. And I did feel like it was coming sooner or later. So hopefully, again, sooner or later, we're getting another one soon.
In fact, Tony Robinson, who's based out in Canada, has put a message on just saying to Michael, what part of his body did he actually score with against Wigan?
It was actually my chin. I actually missed the ball. The keeper hit it onto me, and then it hit the post and in. So
I've watched it numerous times, both from the camera and then from the GoPro behind the goals, and I'm still not sure. I must admit how it got there, but anyway, it got there. That was the main thing. Seamus, Thomas Bartlett asks, what is the highlight of the last 6 years while being at the WAM Stadium? I suppose it probably goes back to Lincoln and Yeovil again, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, Yeovil. The final whistle against Yeovil. Because, well, obviously because we got promoted, but there was, I still felt like I still hadn't gotten over 2 years before that when we drawn with Stevenage on the final day. Whatever about the playoffs against Wimbledon, we had to go and we took them to extra time, but it was the Stevenage game where we just didn't perform. On the final day, and we missed out going up automatic on goal difference in the end. And that I never really got over that until that final whistle against Yeovil. And we got promoted. And I know that Andy has gone on record to say that if we'd have gone up against Stevenage, we weren't prepared, we weren't ready, we probably would have come straight back down. So it's funny how football works out like that. 2 years later, we were in a much better position to get promoted and to maintain our status in League One then the following season.
I think Andy said that when we played Stevenage, I think half the team was already going somewhere else.
Josh and Matt Crooks had signed with Rangers, hadn't they? Our two best players, really. So we were definitely going to lose them. Piero ended up moving on. I think we lost the keepers as well. So I don't think we were ready to get promoted at the time.
No, it was tough at the time because I think it was about the 93rd minute when Bristol scored to pip us on goal difference, which made it even worse, I suppose, really. But it was just one of those games where everybody carried on playing till no one to score, I don't think. But anyway.
Shane McCartan hit the crossbar, didn't he, with about 2 minutes to go, and he just knew it wasn't going to be our day.
I think we hit the bar 3 times, didn't we, in the 90 minutes from memory. But anyway, Colby, next one for you. Obviously, frustrated not playing. Are you physically going watching games, or are you just staying away on match days?
Obviously, when they're at home, the lads still come in and watch. We still sit. To be fair, we get most grounds you're not allowed to sit around the bench, but obviously at the WAM Stadium we can't seem to get away with it. So it's interesting. Obviously, you want to be playing, but it's still interesting to sit and have a different view on the game, and listen to what the managers and their managers are saying, really. And I've enjoyed watching it, but obviously it's still hard to watch when you want to be playing.
Yeah, of course. Seamus just had a comment on chat from Stephanie, who says, when we won the league, Seamus gave my ball his shirt. and now his dream is to captain Stanley and not any Premier League side. So,
that's lovely to
so
hear.
well done, Seamus.
Welcome.
Well done, Seamus. Brilliant, mate.
Matt, this one's for you. Presumably you will be looking forward to playing your hometown club in the coming weeks. Do you know any of the current squad well?
Not too well. No, I think that the lads growing up in my area that were there have kind of moved on now. But obviously, I think I played at the Oval, and that was probably one of the best kind of atmospheres. I think it was the year that they went up. So kind of like everywhere, like us, it's a pity we can't play at these places with kind of the fans in and the atmosphere to soak up as well.
Yeah, no, fair comment. Nathan, Dabben Roberts wants to know, when are you coming back? Well, obviously it won't be this season by the sounds of it with the injury. Will you be recommending Chelsea send us a few loanees next season, knowing how fine a club Stanley are with great coaching staff? Oh, Nathan, your microphone's muted, Nathan.
Can't get the stuff.
No, still can't hear him. Let me just see if we can unmute him this way.
He said a joke. I think he's laughing at himself.
I bet it weren't funny.
It was one of the better ones, was it?
Sorry.
Okay, right. You got the question? You want to start again with the answer?
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying anything funny. I was just laughing because you had to unmute me. Yeah, I'll definitely recommend Aki as a club to the boys in pre-season. Like we all train in, if you're not with the first team, you're in like the loan group. So everyone talks about that, where you're going to go and what club. So I definitely recommend it. I think all three of us, three Chelsea lads, have had a good time, and you know, I know Tariq and Johnny are a bit younger on their first loan, so it was a bit different. So but they've still really enjoyed it, you know, and I think it's been a really good step for them and for me as well. So I definitely recommend it.
I suppose from a loan perspective, you're quite well traveled, really, aren't you? Because you played about 150 games on loan or something like that.
Yeah, so it was obviously different for me compared to the other lads, because it was kind of their first experience of it. So, but no, I definitely recommend it, and I had a great time at the club. And as I said before, it was a shame that I couldn't meet all the supporters, you know. Yeah,
sure. You would have enjoyed playing in front of the Clayton then with the flags and the drums, I must admit. But Michael, next one for you from who's this from? I can't tell. Anyway, having become a full international for St Kitts and Nevis in 2017, have you been disappointed not to get more international caps?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. The reason why I've not been back is because I've not got documents sorted to go back. That's what it is.
Okay.
We were in the process of trying to sort that out last year, but with everything that's gone on with COVID, it hasn't been easy trying to get that stuff sorted. So
I could imagine.
I still hope that I can still do it in the future, but no, at this moment in time, I can't get things actually sorted. So I think they're actually away. They played last night and won 1-0 last night, and they've got another game in Bermuda in the next 2 days, which is a shame.
That would have been nice, yeah.
It would have been nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the future I can get that sorted, and we're doing that again.
Yeah, no, it can't have been easy under the circumstances to get anything like that sorted, can it, really? But good. Okay, Seamus, being injured obviously is very frustrating for you, but are you actually watching like a player, a coach, or a fan?
Probably as a player, I think I still put myself in the shoes of particularly the midfielders. You know, watching it through how I would see the game. I think if I'm playing, it's definitely a lot easier playing. I don't enjoy watching. I'm quite nervous playing, but I feel more nervous in the stand. You feel a lot more helpless.
Yeah.
You're kicking every ball, heading every ball.
Yeah.
It's just very frustrating, but it just it motivates you to get back playing as soon as possible and get yourself fit and available for selection as quick as you can.
Yeah. We keep spying you at the back of the stand there with Mr. Coleman there. So yeah, Colby, you're next up. What striker did you admire most growing up, and did you try to base your game on them?
I mean, I wish I could have based my game on, but I'm probably not quick enough. Probably the striker that I loved watching when I was younger was Thierry Henry. Just to be honest, I was obsessed with him when I was younger. I thought the way he played was just amazing, but obviously I don't really play like him, so I can't really say that I played my game around him.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That answers that question. Matt, coming through the youth ranks at AFC Bournemouth, have many of your contemporaries made it through to senior football?
Yeah, we had quite a good group. I think Jack Simpson was in my youth team that just went to Rangers. I've got a close mate at Crawley Town, Sam Matthews, that I still speak to quite a lot. But obviously, it's so tough coming up. I think we had a bit of a change in the way the club ran, obviously coming up the leagues. So it became a bit tougher for all the lads to kind of make that progression. But there's still Joe Quigley as well. That was my year that's at Yeovil. So there's still a few players playing. I've probably missed a few out as well off the top of my head. But yeah, we had a decent group.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Colby, did you set yourself a goals target for this season, and how many are you aiming for?
No, I don't really tend to set myself one before the season. To be fair, I just kind of go with the flow and have mini targets. In the next, obviously, I think of the next 3 games, I'd like to score 2 or 3. But obviously, I don't. It matters on the injury when I'm going to be back. I think if I do manage to get back for Friday, I believe it's 9 games.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to score 4 or 5 goals, but in hindsight, you don't know what the game's going to be like. So I think it's just take game by game and just try and score in as many games as possible, really.
Yeah, sure. No, that's a fair comment. Nathan, Teresa Roberts asks, really sorry about your injury. I hope you make a full recovery soon. What was your first impression when you arrived at Accrington from Chelsea? What did you think of the stadium and its facilities?
It was funny because the first morning I signed, I drove in and the first person I saw was Knots. And I said to him, I'm mate, you're right, I'm Nathan, like, where do we go? Like, what do we do? And he was like, to be honest with you, mate, I'm signing today, so I have no idea either. So I sat in Knott's car and we spoke for about 20 minutes before anyone else turned up. So that was my first impression of Aki.
You finally found where to go and they got you sorted out, obviously in the fullness of time. What's next? Stephen Pye, I think we've just about exhausted our questions. Just one last one for you all, and it's probably more relevant to some than others, but hopefully for a long time for all of you. What are your thoughts on what happens when you stop playing football? Who wants to start with that one? I wouldn't imagine Nathan's got that anywhere near thinking about that at this stage. Seamus and Knots might be at the back of the mind somewhere, but hopefully not for a few years.
It's a scary thought. Like, I've actually been thinking about it since I've turned 30 anyway. Like, I always feel like I'm on the back end of it now. I don't feel like I am. I feel like I'm still a young 30 or 31. But, yeah, it's scary. I don't like the thought of it. I do like to just try and put it to one side and go with the flow kind of thing, and just keep going. So I really don't know. I don't really like to think too much about it.
So you obviously haven't put plans in motion as yet with various bits and pieces. You'll cross that bridge when you come to it.
It's one of them ones, yeah.
Yeah. I know, Seamus, you've been busy doing degrees and things, haven't you?
I've done a journalism degree, yeah, in Staffordshire University. So that was, the PFA, that was through the PFA, our union. They contribute an awful lot towards that. Yeah. So that was a good opportunity. Mark Hughes did the same one. And I think David Morgan's done the same one as well, who's just come to us in the window. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the same as what Knots was saying there. It's not something I like to think about because it's a scary thought. But if you put it on the back burner too long, it'll creep up on you, and all of a sudden, you're coming towards the end and you don't know what you're going to do. So it is something you need to get the wheels in motion so that the transition is not as sudden as it could be. You need to be able to make it a bit more fluid so that you can move from playing to whatever it is. I would like to stay in football as long as I can, and then when my playing days are finished, maybe go towards coaching or the media side of things. That certainly interests me.
The PFA offer a lot of various avenues and support as you sort of move through your career.
Yeah, you can do a few different degrees. Physio is another one you can do, and like I said, the journalism degree, they make a large contribution towards that.
Yeah. And
then they give you a lot of help with any injuries you have anytime, even when you're finished. If you're a member of the PFA for life, have you ever had an injury in another field, If you needed an operation or anything like that, they'll always look after you. So we're very lucky as footballers to be part of that union.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Colby, you long way down the road for you. You haven't given any thoughts, presumably, as yet.
No, I don't think I'm quite there yet. I think we've got a bit more time before I start thinking about that, to be honest.
Yeah, keep practicing the golf. You go on the tour, I reckon.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Matt, what about you? Obviously, injuries have happened, which must have focused the mind a little bit. Really, I know you're still very young in terms of the game and whatever.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a bit of a unique time where you're going to be out for a long period of time. You can start looking at other things and just kind of exploring other interests, really, because since you grow up from the age of 4 or 5 or whatever, all you care about is football, and all you do is football. So that was definitely a progressive time, really, where I could kind of look at other avenues and look at other interests, really, because at the end of the day, you want to try and find something that you enjoy going forward.
Yeah, sure. No, I understand. Okay. Mick Shack says on the comment, Seamus is getting better with age. At least another 5 seasons he's got you down for, Seamus.
That's my agent, I think, is it, working overtime?
That's at least 12 kilometres a game, apparently. So somebody just commented, does Nathan have any family from Northern Ireland? We need a keeper. No good, I'm afraid. It's not going to work. But, okay, I think that takes us through all the questions, gents. And on behalf of the fans, can I just thank you all for your time this evening? Although obviously we've not been there to support you all this season, we have been there in spirit, peering at computer screens and laptops and goodness knows what. But please don't underestimate the sort of pleasure that you guys are bringing to fans. Even though we can't get in stadiums, at least it gives them something to focus on a Saturday and a Tuesday, and goodness knows whenever else we get to play as well. So hopefully the rest of the season pans out well and we finish where we deserve to finish, wherever that may be. And hopefully we see you all back at the WAB Stadium in August, all being well.
No problem.
So stay safe and look after yourselves.
Cheers, Peter. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.